Today, the paper is headquartered at 520 South 16th Street, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and publishes on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday.The Philadelphia Tribune also publishes the Tribune Magazine, Entertainment Now, Sojourner, The Learning Key, and the Sunday Tribune. The Tribune has a weekly readership of about 625,000 and is mostly read by people living in the Philadelphia-Camden Metro Area, as well as in Chester. The Tribune has received the John B. Russwurm Award as Best Newspaper in the country 7 times since 1995. Christopher J. Perry was born on September 11, 1854 in Baltimore, Maryland, to free African-American parents. In Baltimore, Perry attended school and gained a positive reputation in his local community through his public speeches. After he graduated from high school in 1873, the ambitious Perry migrated to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania due to the lack of opportunities for African Americans in Baltimore. Once in Philadelphia, Perry began writing for local newspapers like the Northern Daily and the Sunday Mercury. He wrote a column titled Flashes and Sparks for the Mercury, which provided information to the growing black community in Philadelphia. Through his regular columns, Perry gained positive attention from the educated members of the African American community in Philadelphia. However, in 1884, the Sunday Mercury went bankrupt and Perry found himself without a job. Later that year, on November 27, 1884, Perry began his own newspaper titled The Philadelphia Tribune, and Perry ran the operation as the owner, reporter, editor, copier, and advertiser. Perry worked on the Tribune until his death in 1921. Throughout his career with the Tribune, Perry promoted the advancement of American Americans in society and covered issues affecting their daily lives. When the Tribune began publication in 1884, it was a weekly, one-page paper located at 725 Sansom Street. Despite the challenges black businesses faced during the late 19th century, especially in journalism, the Tribune enjoyed unusual success during its early years as it averaged 3,225 copies weekly by 1887. In 1891, Perry and the Tribune received national recognition when Garland Penn, a prominent advocate for African American journalism, praised the Philadelphia newspaper in his book The Afro-American Press and Its Editors. In his book, Penn complimented the Tribune's consistency and reliability. However, the Tribune was not the only African American newspaper circulating in Philadelphia at the time. The Tribune competed against other African American newspapers during its first few decades, like the Philadelphia Standard-Echo, the Philadelphia Sentinel, the Philadelphia Defender, and the Courant. But by 1900, the Tribune became the leading voice of Black Philadelphia, when W. E. Du Bois referred to it as the chief news sheet in the city. After Reconstruction ended in 1877, African Americans migrated to northern cities in search of a better life. During this great migration to Philadelphia, the city went through a fundamental transformation as African Americans flooded the city looking for jobs. Racial tensions divided Philadelphia as the new black migrants crowded neighborhoods and competed with whites for jobs. During the migration, Perry and the Tribune served as an outlet to educate and inform black Philadelphians, and it helped the new migrants adjust to the foreign city. It covered job openings, civic affairs, social events, and church news. Rather than just report the news and keep their audience informed, the Tribune actively committed itself to help improve the standard of living for African Americans in Philadelphia. The Tribune openly supported and advertised civic groups like the Armstrong Association, Negro Migration Committee, and the National Urban League of Philadelphia, in order to combat the increasing discrimination found within the city. As the new migrants moved into white neighborhoods, violence swept through the city as white mobs formed to intimidate black families. In 1914, after a white mob attacked and destroyed the new home of a black woman, the Philadelphia Department of Public Safety neglected to investigate the crime, and no white newspapers reported the incident. The managing editor of the Tribune, G. Grant Williams, reported the case and encouraged African Americans to join the police force. The newspaper worked with the Colored Protective Association to help defend African Americans who were unfairly arrested. Williams also wrote articles on how to protect women from the racial violence and advice on morals and values. As a way to create a cultural identity and unity among Black Philadelphians, the Tribune publicized free lectures and invited respected church leaders to write columns for the paper,